What's up, Walk-ins? Welcome, crowd. It is that time again. We did a webinar recently, and we're going to be bringing it to the podcast for this week. And it's all about the Summer Slump Bootcamp. What does that mean? So you have a summer slump. You're currently in summer. Things are probably slow. We recognize that the urgent care space has a slow summer. But what does that mean? You can either just enjoy the slow, make less money, go on longer vacations, worry about things, and then come back and then everything explodes, right? Because everything comes back from schools and then people get sick and then you're busy again. Or you can take your summer slump and turn it into a boot camp in terms of let's get some things done. And inside this webinar, we have spent 45, 50 minutes just on what are the things inside your clinic that you could improve over the summer that will make you prepared for the busy season that's coming soon. So I hope you guys enjoyed the webinar. I know it was one of those webinars where it's kind of a working session. So as you're listening, you may find yourself wanting to make some notes. So just either you're going to have a way to make notes, just make mental notes or whatever. But the reality is there's some great opportunities there. It's like, hey, I could probably do that. Maybe we should do that. Let me go talk to the team when I get out of this car. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy. I guess I need to do that EMR transition, get to that new software. I don't want to do it, but this will be a good time. Here's one. Clean your office on a deep clean level, which sounds funny, but I think I've been to enough clinics that I can see that they mop the floor and they wipe down the counters and maybe they vacuum, but I don't see anything else.
Do this. Look in the corner of your office.
Yeah, look at your ceiling tiles.
Look at the top corner of your office and see if you got cobwebs up there.
Yeah, look at your ceiling tiles.
My wife can spot them like it's her job.
Yeah. Look for dust, things like that. Like this isn't like that's a super easy one to look around. So, I guess I should do that. Right. Look at your office laid out from a patient flow standpoint. Hey, is this the time to kind of clean some stuff up? Because I don't want people to like they're walking forever or they get confused. Same from a digital standpoint. Is the flow really good still? Like have somebody do a secret shop your clinic and tell them what you think. So we're going to say this always. This may be a chance to dial in your marketing message because that's a real thing where you may have been like, I'm not sure who we are, what we are. Well, this is a chance to kind of go through that. And then finally, like this is a big one. This is probably the most difficult one is it time to expand, improve, add, or remove a service? Like you have all these services, you have the core urgent care services, but then you have maybe some extra services. Is it time to get rid of some because they're wasting money and time and effort? Or like, hey, actually that one was working pretty well. I wonder if we can make it better. So that's what you need to think about right now. So let's go through that. So put your brain on for that. But let's decide on the three areas. So you have,
there you go.
So physical location, that's what we talked about. Operations, which could be your EMR. It could be maybe you need to hire another person or train up on something, or it's time to like just increase the level of professionalism, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Or outreach, like, hey, is my marketing doing what it's supposed to? My team, we'll say this, like, honestly, we reach out to our clients. Sometimes they don't come back to us. And you may have a bunch of emails or reports right now in your email, and you're like, I've yet to reach back out to them. I should probably get a meeting with your marketing team.
There you go.
Like you have the time. Talk about what's going on. Like just kind of peel back down you. But anyway, so like location, operations, and outreach. Those are three things. And it sounds like a lot. And you may say, I really can only tackle one. That's fine. Because our goal right now is just to prevent you from just going into, like you said, autopilot. And then 9-10 weeks go by and you're busy and you say, I never got around to that. You go look in the corners, you see the cobwebs, or you see where a patient's walking the wrong way. And I say, where am I supposed to check out again?
Right.
Like you have all these layers going on. So it's just one of those, you have to like kind of think through it. But you do recognize like it's going to take a little effort. And the best part is you don't have to be doing all the work. You can tap people to do this, but you have to decide like which route am I going to go. So, all right, with that in mind, think about the areas, and we're going to put the poll out there. Which one do you want to focus on? Which one do you think needs the most attention? Which one popped in your head when I mentioned these ideas?
Need to clean up my office. We're doing this now, updating some furniture.
Yeah, we just swapped in new conference room chairs.
Yeah. Dialing in our operations. There's areas of our business that we need to improve on internally. Like we need to clean up our billing process and payers. We need to clean up our EMR. We need to clean up these things. Or it could be an outreach. Hey, we need to do a better job on doing these things in execution. So
operations and outreach was the top ones.
Love
Good.
Good.
That makes sense. Like marketing side, how do I improve my operations overall? Like that software, that SOP that I've been meaning to write down, but I just haven't yet. Those type of things.
That'll make me want to blow through the next one then. So that way now I know what you want. It helps me do this webinar for you better.
Yeah.
If you're focusing on your location, I'm just gonna say check your signage, clean, accurate interiors, your furniture, paint on the walls, cleanliness, patient flow. We talked about exam rooms. This is where people are spending the vast majority of their time. It ought to not just look good, it ought to feel good. Right. So spend some time in your exam room, sit in there. I want to challenge you. If you're a provider, when you're slow, go in your exam room and shut the door and stay there by yourself for 15 minutes. Cause that's how long y'all are going to leave me in there. I mean this though. You will notice things in 15 minutes about your exam room that you've never noticed before that your patients see every single time they're there.
Yeah.
Okay. Cause they're there.
I even think about it because you also hear things.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I remember I was.
What kind of chatter is happening over at the desk?
Yeah, right. Because I remember I was
Doctor's crazy.
Exactly.
You don't want that.
But I remember one time I was in a doctor's office in the wall. Like this was an old office. It was probably like 70s, 60s, because the wallpaper and stuff suggested that. And I could hear the whole conversation with the patient right beside me. Like it felt like they were in the room, but they weren't. And I was like, well, apparently she's a diabetic and they can't do this. And like, I was just like listening to all of it, which was interesting. But no, like you said, sit down, evaluate, just kind of let it sit there, marinate for a second. Say, what do I need to change here? Also too, I know some of y'all mentioned outreach. Outreach can happen inside the exam room where you have captive audience for 10, 15 minutes. Do you have a screen in there or something that could be promoting some new special you may have and stuff like that? So think about that. Like think about that whole process because I've seen it. I've been in a clinic recently and they had a screen and it talked about sports physicals coming up and stuff like that. It's like, it's kind of good because I'm just sitting there waiting. I'm like, well, yeah, maybe I do need to go and get that figured out. Or you're offering some deal on a flu shot or whatever it is. So like think through that because that's a good opportunity. Anytime you have somebody sitting there waiting on purpose, how can you entertain them with something about your clinic?
Right.
So
put a video up.
Exactly. So operations wise, we talked about a little bit of this, but so EMR, that's always a big one. Front desk training. So I'm a big front desk trainer. We train a lot of our clients because we see the importance of front desk because a front desk should be able to convert a call in into a patient, into an appointment. So that's a big deal because that can make a huge impact if you can make that adjustment. Cost analysis and improvement. Have you sat down and looked at your books? Have you sat down with your CPA and talked to them about your books? Have you said, why are we still spending money on this? Well, I thought we did better on that. Things like just that constant, question your books. And if you're not sure, how do I want to question them? The best thing you can do is pull a year over year and then kind of see where your expenses are going or increasing or decreasing in comparison to your revenue that's coming in. And then make an analysis off of that. Make it super quick. After do year over year, then do month to month and see if it's consistent or if it explodes 1 month for some reason or whatever. So this is your chance to kind of sit down and say, maybe I should make some improvements and cut some cost, or maybe increase the cost that will help something else. And finally, too, on the operational insurance contracts, we talk about this all the time. Chances are, if it's been 2 or 3 years since you've negotiated that contract, it's time to go back and reevaluate and take a look at that because that contract can be renegotiated. I have had multiple conversations now with companies that's all they do is go to insurance companies on behalf of you and say, we want to renegotiate, make this a better deal. Because now you're actually putting out better value than you were maybe started up because your startup rate is going to be quite a bit different that you've been 5 years into it and you have proven track record of what you're doing. So just take a look at all that and kind of think through it. Next is outreach. So outreach, we always joke about Ahmed because it's one of those big hairy animals.
Right.
We actually have had somebody on the podcast where we talked about there's a training program and it's multiple weeks. It's not quick either. So thinking through Ahmed, it's not I'm going to do it today. And then
no, but you can put a plan in action today that'll be ready to execute during peak season.
Yeah. So that could be that. It could. Then we talk about seasonal ads running. Hey, it is seasonal time, so there are things you could be running. We do recognize sports physicals are starting to come back up already because about to go into the fall. If you are a vacation type clinic where maybe you're a destination place, maybe you have some deals for beach goers or whatever. things like that. And then if we have something pop up where we say like, okay, we're going to make a discount for you to do just an annual type of thing. We're going to come in, we'll do a basic annual review for you, and annual physical, discounted rate on that, because we know that can generate other patient visits later. So that's something to consider. Hey, Michael here. I want to talk real quick. So Patient Care Marketing Pros, we are here to help get more patients in your door, because the reality is visibility matters. The first clinic they see online is usually the first clinic they're going to talk to, which means they're going to become a patient to that clinic. We're there to help you along the way to get more patients in your door and get that visibility up so you can see those patients coming in and decide, am I going to increase the growth here or add another location? And we can help you along the way. If you got questions or want to talk to us, happy to do it. PatientCareMarketPros.com. Take a visit, and we'll see you on the other side. So that's something to consider.
If you're a beach clinic, y'all need to be handing out branded sunscreen at the beach.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you need to do that.
You got burned, we can help.
Yep.
Exactly. And then of course, this is that chance, like, should I update my imagery of my company? Not just the logo, but like just overall feel, where somebody walked into your clinic or saw your website and said, oh, they feel pretty modern, feel pretty new, not 1999 or early 2000s. Because that's the thing, because sometimes we realize that you guys buy or rent into a location with like a 20-year contract, 20-year lease. And so maybe you haven't touched it in 20 years. Well, here's your chance to do so. All right. We always want to hop into a question. And reason why I'm asking this, because I want to know, are you tracking the goals and things for your improvement projects? Do you have a way to track any of this stuff? Do you have KPIs for things, or do you a project come up? Oh, we finished it. That's the checkbox. Yeah. So like, how do you track big project changes? Is it just assign it to somebody and then they tell you when it's done? Who knows? And if that's happening, that's okay. It's an opportunity to make an improvement.
I will say this is an area, just personal in business, that we don't always do the best job at tracking. We try. We do it through our rocks, right?
Yeah.
I love it. Yes, consistently. I love that. And then one is not really.
We have
almost like, to drop in chat. How are you tracking? That would be a great way to know if you are comfortable. Drop in chat. How are you tracking your projects? That'd be cool for everybody on the call to see how you're doing that. Let's keep going.
Yep.
I don't know why that doesn't work for me, but it works for you.
All right, so that's week one, is evaluate. This is your ideation time, right? So you've kind of picked out what you wanted, and you're like, okay, I think we're going to commit to this. It makes you itch a little bit, but I think this will be a great thing. So we're going to do some baseline goal setting. And this is something that we've learned ourselves, like determining the good, the bad, and acceptable. So is this?
I like to say this a little different, and this is start, stop, keep.
Yeah, start, stop, keep.
Right. What is something that we're not doing that we need to start doing? What is something that we're doing that we really need to stop doing? And what are the things that are working for us that we just need to keep doing it at an excellent level? That's the start, stop, keep thought process.
Yeah. And then the mindset is like, what's that? Like, hey, if we get here, that's pretty good. Mm-hmm. If it goes backwards, that's bad.
Right.
And like, we made a little bit of improvement, that's maybe acceptable. And then you need to make the case as to why you've chosen this, because chances are you're not going to be doing it all by yourself. You're going to have to bring in some people to help get it done. And you need like a pitch, essentially.
Right.
Because you're kind of selling this to your clinic, to your employees, to your staff, saying, we need to do this, and here's why. You need that 45-second, 60-second pitch of saying, this is why I want to do it. Because you may get a little bit of eye rolling and groaning and like, we don't have time for this. Like, yes, we do. I've seen the patient numbers. We have some time. And then finally, like, show them what success looks like when it does happen. And like, hey, when this gets done, when you have that better EMR, this whole patient flow is better. Or, hey, we have a cleaner office, and now you feel more proud walking in, and maybe you get better Google reviews because how clean the office was. Like, these things start to make a difference.
I know this sounds crazy, and I know that you're not a truck stop, but they advertise clean bathrooms.
Oh, yeah.
That's an advertisement. Imagine a clean clinic.
Yeah, exactly. But think about it. A gas station's gas, but they put more advertising into the food and a clean bathroom.
Yeah.
Because the experience they care about. They already know they're going to deliver you fuel. Like, anybody can do that. Yeah. and keep a relatively clean fuel pump. But like,
I swear the only improvement in gas that they've made over the years is Apple Pay.
yeah, right. Like now,
whatever the
I
wireless
can just tap.
Yeah, that's been an amazing improvement, but that's the only real improvement they've made in pumping gas.
Well, and then everybody does that, right? So how do you separate? Like you go to a Buc-ee's, you don't really go to Buc-ee's for gas.
Totally random. One time, and I know this is on improvement or the start stop keep is. I actually got a chance one time to go to a full service gas station. They came out, they checked my oil, they cleaned my windows, they pumped the gas, they took my credit card, they asked me if I wanted anything on the inside. It's the only time one time in my entire life. This used to be the standard.
Yeah,
just imagine that for a second.
Yeah, when we were driving through New Jersey last year, I had to stop at a gas station. I told them I've never done this before.
Fantastic,
and it was kind of funny because I just sat there. I didn't even turn the car off.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But anyway, so you make sure you kind of build that little sales pitch. Essentially, like this is what's going to happen. This is why we're going to, because you're going to have pushback, and you're going to have an answer for it. And if you get them excited about it, you'll probably get it done quicker.
Right.
Because if you have something that like, I don't really want to do this, it may take longer than you want to. All right. So you've gone through that. Now you got to put together the game plan. So we're still in week 2, right? So you've determined in week 1 like what you're going to do. Week 2, now you're starting to put it all together. So identify those key people. Can't just be you. Like I said, you're the owner, should not be the point person in all the projects. Maybe you are on one project, but you shouldn't be the point person if you have 2 or 3 projects you want to accomplish. You shouldn't be that. Now you may be the cheerleader for it to help it get done, but maybe you're not the one that's actually calling all the shots of how to get it done.
Right.
Anyway, so think through that, identify those key people, and then maybe just 1 or 2 people for each one. Who knows? Then you need to write it down and walk through this weekly schedule how to get it done, because like we always say, you can't eat an elephant in one big bite. You got to take chunks at a time.
Right. And
so it's the same concept here. Like some of these projects seem super overwhelming, but if you break it up over the next 6 weeks, maybe this won't be so bad. And then you have like little part of that, like little check-ins and stuff, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, so this is your chance to write it down and get it put together, get your plan together, get your people together, give them a nice pitch on it, and get the ball moving. And now you're in week 2. So if you started it this week, this is like right before July 4th, you have everything ready to go, and you're about to move forward. So now we're going to talk about the actual implementation.
Yeah, let's put it into practice here. So I'll try and make this quick and be respectful of your time. All right. First of all, we want to talk about the implementation of how to make all this work. Time to put the practice in. We talked about the off season, getting ready for game time season, right? So you got to create the milestones and the checkpoints along the way. You can't just say, hey, we're going to go do this thing. You kind of have to have a bit of a blueprint for it. And you want to make sure that people understand what has to happen along the way to get things executed. If you want to add occupational medicine, you need to first say, okay, well, are we in a position to be able to take that type of clients? Because at that point you have 2. You have the patient and you have the actual client that you're billing for all this. Are you capable of billing another business? Are you in a B2B situation? Well, you got to prep for all of that. That's just one example of many, right? Mm-hmm. You have to set up a check-in process. You need to do this on pace. I think a weekly basis is the best pace to do this. And that's just simply either in a team meeting or a huddle or something like that. Hey, where are we on this key result area? Where are we on this? And you either is on track or it's off track, or in the worst case, it's just not even started.
Right? And that's real. And that's
a
why
real thing.
That's a weekly check is so important.
That's right.
Because, I'm sorry, I got away from me. It's been busy this week. Well, great. Well, we need to make a step forward.
That's right.
Yeah.
So on track, off track, not started. That's it. Those are the 3 checks. It's either on track or off track. And if they're off track, the best question you can simply say is, hey, where are you stuck?
Yeah.
Right. And if people are falling behind, determine the reasons why and then make adjustments. Right. It could be that you have to move it back a week, or you have to put a different person for an assist there. Right. But make changes, reasonable and meaningful changes to move the ball down the field. All right. Signage. Determine signage. This can make this quick too. Signage around your office. Determine signage requirements. Is it starting to change color? We were. I can't remember where we were, Michael, but we walked into a clinic, and that building looked like it was straight out of 1988.
Yeah.
I mean, it was dingy yellow.
Yeah.
Right. And the signage was starting to change color for how old it was.
Yeah. From the sun hitting
right?
it. Yep.
And just determine what you need. If you have a common area where people don't, this is the most common thing at the dentist office is people don't know how to leave. Well, put some signage up saying exit this way. How crazy is that? Right.
Yeah.
I know somebody will typically say it's down the hall and to the right. They're not going to get it. Put it at the end of the hall and point an arrow to the right.
Yeah. Well, I even think about like we're now 5 years since COVID,
Right.
and you probably still have please stand 6 feet from away from each other signage on the floor. Because
I've seen some of that.
yeah, like I was walking through Dollar, like yes, I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. I was walking through Dollar General because they're everywhere here, and looking down at the floor, there's like a fully ripped up. Please stand 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
And then all you can see is like the 6 at this point. But that's real. Like, hey, this might be. And guess what? They probably mopped the floor, but nobody's going to get down there with a razor and like try to get that off.
It'd be really cool if somebody would just take care of some of the ugly things in there, like old signage. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Standards are a big thing. And I'm specifically talking to our multi-location. Doing the same thing across multiple locations, that is going to breed trust with your patients.
Yes.
Predictable, stable, consistent, profitable, all of these different kinds of things. Well, your branding needs to be all of those things in order to be a scalable clinic, right? To be a multi-location clinic, you have to put standards in place and then begin working and critiquing the designs before you send it over to print or sending it over to the sign company. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Interior exam rooms. Like I said, first of all, sit in there for 15 minutes. Pay attention. If you were not tempted to walk over to the little jar with the little Q-tips, every time I sit in one of those things, I just want to go play with stuff, right? So if there's things that don't need to be played with, keep in mind, there's people who want to play with those things. And I know I sound dumb right now, but I'm also being serious. Sit in there for 15 minutes. Do you need to overhaul it? Do you need to deep clean it? Do you need to update it? Can you improve the flow? Can you allow that doctor to have some insights on what needs to change in the exam room? This is where the people are spending the vast majority of their time. How can you make it easier for the doctor to walk in and be present?
Yeah.
Right. These are the kind of things that I think you should ask. It'll reduce the patient friction and it'll reduce the wait time. All right. EMR. All right. So we have some great relationships with EMRs out there. I'm not going to use this time to promote, but if you're thinking about switching to one that's going to better serve you, the best time to do that is when you are slow. Yep. All right. It is going to disrupt your business the least when you do that. So right now is the best time to switch to an EMR that's going to work for you because it's going to take 3 to 6 weeks, right? Something like
minimum.
That, right. So that's right within this 9-week time frame that we're talking about. Reach out to us, hello at Patient Care Marketing Pros. We would be happy to make some recommendations. There's 2 specific ones that we love to work with on the marketing side, and they tend to be really, really good for our clients. So happy to make those introductions if you want them. And usually the pros outweigh the cons for making a switch whenever you do this. It's gonna hurt. I don't even want to lie. There's no putting Band-Aids on this, right?
But this goes back to that pitching part.
That's right.
Making sure you're doing a really good pitch up front because there's going to be a lot of groaning on that one.
Yeah, I know. It's going to suck. There's no nice way to say it. But on the other side of that, it's going to make you faster, leaner, more efficient. All of the pros of coming with an EMR that people actually want to use.
Yep.
That's huge. And then schedule ahead of time with a vendor. Okay. That's your EMR side of things. Front desk training. I tell you what, this says Nick and Michael, but Michael, you got a really cool thing that you're putting together. I know it's not time to launch it, but you can preview it if you want. Now's a good time for that.
Yeah. So front desk training. So we're actually, because I've worked with so many clinics now, I've determined like I can make a course out of this. So I'm right now, Hannah and I are working together on developing a course that you guys can buy into and have your team utilize at their own leisure. But the idea here is like the implementation on front desk training. This is what I know. This is what I've been talking to clinics for probably 2 years now, just front desk. When it comes to implementation of front desk training, you got to first evaluate the calls. Like this, think through it. We're going to do front desk training improvement. Great. First step is to understand where you're at. Yep. And so inside the front desk stuff, you're going to evaluate the calls. Well, we don't record calls. Like, well, you probably should. Making sure it's a HIPAA compliant platform to do that with, but you should probably record calls. And then start determining the common issues. And then even when you think you got the common issues figured out, have somebody secret shop your clinic. So identify there's usually 3 to 5 issues that every clinic seems to deal with. The front desk is either just really stumbling on or just wholly ignoring. Anyway, tell your secret shopper, hey, shop off of these 3 things and tell me what happens. And you go listen to the call, listen to what they said. Now you got that information, like, okay, I got the problem. Now you can look at the training issue part. Like, we can put some scripts together. We're going to talk about some training. And this is not a beat up session. This is like, how I want you to improve. We can get more patients coming in this door. We're going to grow, which is a good thing. And someone's like, well, I don't want to grow because I feel like I like the summer. It's so slow. It's so nice.
Right. Get a bit of a break.
Yeah. So, but you've trained. Now, guess what? Now you get to go reevaluate the calls again. It's like a cycle. And you can come back to them and say, I don't know, well, this helped a little bit. This did not. And all the different things. But anyway, so you reevaluate the calls, and now you're seeing that, hey, there's some improvement, or you may identify a key person, because if you're multi-location, you have multiple front desk people. There may be a key person like, wow, this person's fantastic. I need to promote them up, or I need to increase their pay. I want to keep them. So what'd you think? Did you have some things going in your mind saying, all right, you know what? I think I could probably figure that out. I know for most, the simplest one by far, this sounds terrible. Clean up that office, clean up that clinic, not just mop the floors and wipe down the counters. Do the whole thing. Get rid of those cobwebs. As Nick was saying, get rid of the cobwebs out of the corners. Clean up those ceiling tiles, whatever it makes sense. That maybe some fresh paint, just to freshen that place up, to stand out from your competition and increase that experience, because patient experience absolutely matters. Or maybe you're going super complicated. It's like, I finally need to pull the trigger on the EMR. Let's go ahead and start doing that. That's a lot, but it's important. And then, or you're saying, you know what, I think it's time to really look at our insurance contracts and see if we have some better opportunities. It's been a few years. Hopefully they got your brain moving a little bit, saying, these are a couple of things I could be doing instead of just taking it really slow, but taking advantage of the slowness and looking at items saying, all right, I think I can knock this out next couple of weeks before we get busy again, and it will make our clinic better. And that when we make it better, we can be more profitable and do all the right things. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.